One of the gifts of American democracy to the world was the philosophy of self-governance. And in our New England states, we still do pretty well at those town meetings. We also know that sometimes, even in those town meetings, one person dominates, only the usual suspects show up. So one of the things we've tried to do in America Speaks is to take the spirit of the town meeting and revitalize it in terms of Jefferson's intent, which is it is truly an equal level playing field for all voices.
I've just started in the HR field.
I'm a wife and a mother of a 7-year-old.
Imagine sitting at a table with 10 or 12 people from different backgrounds, talking about an issue that's important to you. Now imagine an auditorium full of these discussion tables. And then imagine that all the ideas generated, all the views expressed, could be written down, thoughtfully considered, and that in the end, all the information went directly into the hands of decision makers who were committed to putting it to use. This is the work of America Speaks. Their mission, simply put, is to establish a direct, unbiased link between citizens and decision makers.
The idea and the reality of citizens having a voice in the democratic process in a way that people really pay attention to and listen to is first and foremost.
People definitely come in with one set of preconceptions and ideas. They get information, and then they actually learn through the process of dialogue and communications with other human beings. And if you do listen, you're absolutely going to be shaped, and you're going to shape other people as well.
In preparation for every 21st century town meeting, America Speaks goes to great lengths to invite a truly diverse and representative group of participants. Together with sponsoring organizations, they write and publish an agenda and a discussion guide. At the town meeting, trained facilitators make sure everyone is heard and that no one dominates the discussion. The thoughts and ideas of each table are typed into a laptop computer. Those ideas are sent to a theme team where they're read, saved, sorted, and combined into the dominant themes. These themes are then presented back to the entire group on large video screens. And finally, everyone is invited to vote on individual keypads.
I came here today to try to be part of a solution rather than a problem.
As each meeting begins, participants talk about why they attended, and they get to use their keypads while learning who's present and how accurately they represent the target population. Listen now to a discussion from the 21st Century Town Meeting, Tough Choices in Healthcare, held in the state of Maine.
Encouraging good food choices and increased exercise at school.
Of the 5 choices here, I think this is probably the most important for improving healthcare.
These are like the habits that we establish for our lives, so it makes sense.
I actually think it's a good idea, but one thing that I think is kind of important here is that what about what's going on at home and kind of what the parent's role is as well.
We require people with serious mental illness and or substance abuse to get appropriate care.
I think we should require people because I don't think enough people do.
We do require it.
So if I suffer from bipolar and I forget to pick up my prescription, does that mean you think the cops should come or somebody should come to my house and pick me up?
If you are a danger.
I think they should check on you, yeah.
Well,
no.
Their life is a danger to me.
Some people cannot take the generic brand, it does not work for them, and they're being forced.
Yes. And our government is saying you can't go to Canada and buy it. It's the same exact drug.
We can buy it cheaper in Canada without insurance, and I can in the United States with insurance. And that's a shame. There's something very wrong with that picture.
What keeps going through my mind is that when like the key factor is a profit, like just the total.
As discussion groups talk and generate ideas, the theme team reads and distills those ideas.
Profit motive will lead insurance companies to pick and choose, and some populations will lose out. Here's something else we're going to need to get in there because it's coming up. Where would the money come from? Good, straightforward, simple question.
The theme team is now ready to give us all the information back. Profit motive will lead insurance companies to pick and choose and leave some without coverage. This option is unlikely to reduce costs. So what we want to do now is actually discover what's your level of support for this strategy for the state of Maine on a scale of 1 to 6. And we're going to vote on each one.
One of the beauties of this method of public deliberation is that new ideas are treated just as seriously as ideas from the program sponsors.
None of the above.
Frankly, the reason I love having the opportunity to work with people like this in this country is because of how straight we are about what we think. And after that last vote, our friends and neighbors in Orono, they've actually kept up some chatter in the computers saying, this isn't fair, we should get to vote on that issue. The only way for us to do this now equitably is to actually redo the ranking of all the options. So those are your 9 options. Okay. Okay, you've sent a very clear message. Democracy in action.
America Speaks came with its independence and its autonomy to walk through a very transparent public process. Policy is only as good as it represents the people, so you need vehicles to make sure we get the voices of the many to inform the decisions of the few.
I think it's been great. I mean, I felt like I was heard, and that's what I came here for.
I was awestruck. To have that instant feedback was just incredible.
As a result of America Speaks efforts, 10,000 Washington, D.C. residents have spoken directly to the mayor and impacted funding for education, senior services, affordable housing, and public safety. 4,000 current and displaced residents of New Orleans helped shape the city's recovery plan from Hurricane Katrina. The unified plan was the first to get approval by all levels of local and state government, releasing much-needed recovery funds. 4,300 New Yorkers decided plans for rebuilding Ground Zero were insufficient. As a result, decision-makers announced those plans would be redrawn. And in the state of Maine, new priorities were established for Maine's healthcare reform plans.
It's truly magnificent in terms of a structured effort which required so much logistical support, and yet in the end analysis could flex with where people were. It was truly remarkable.
When the meetings are over, public officials are delighted. They've never seen anything like this before. They've never seen citizens be civil all day long and really get into interesting, difficult, challenging conversations and come around to some important recommendations.
The America Speaks methodology engages and activates the grassroots, so the ideas and concerns and ideals of everyday people throughout America are able to get to the highest levels of government.
I really think the life of the country, the soul of our relationship between government and people is at risk. So I think the work is terribly important in trying to bridge the gap there and really make people feel more connected with the decision makers.
It's true democracy. It's true public participation in democracy.
America Speaks is not just these meetings, but it is a message about, I don't know what Woody Guthrie said, this land is my land, this land is your land. It's made for you and me. I mean, I believe that. It sounds corny, but that's what I think and that's what I feel.
America Speaks.